So you are saying that Sun Aloe, the plant that all the potion makers consider one of the most precious and one of the rarest elixir ingredient, can easily be found here?
Okay, I wouldn't say easy, but reading from cheese streams, it grows more often here than any other place. I could tell you if and where exactly it grows, but, you know, not quite myself recently.
Either way, it's good to know. A single plant is so priceless, many potion makers would pay as much as some of the missions I've been sent on. Pretty much easy bits.
That depends if you really want to experience this old tree meme by stepping on the flower behind you.
What Whoa!
You're welcome.
Did you just...
I'd rather deal with you than be stuck in a tree. Don't get any ideas that I'm helping you because I grew some kind heart or something.
Sure. Heh. A second episode with Zecora in a row? What is it? A Christmas or what? We missed her quite a lot and now we got so much of her. Well, except the part that this time she is basically reduced to plot device giving the conflict to Fluttershy. Maybe the implications behind it are serious and is quite relatable, still, I like how Zecora was used in the previous episode. So this is my personal nitpick of this episode. But what about the rest of it? Quite good actually. Not as good as previous one, but still. When was the last time when Fluttershy was that determined the whole episode? Probably never if I recall correctly, given also that she just recently became more assertive. This here is pretty much an absolute peak of it, showcasing how far she went in her development. She is not a doormat, her determination is still coming from her kindness. This is however another example of her casting away fears and doubts when seeing a friend who needs her help. And Zecora seriously needed her help with that swamp fever, but unlike in Dragonshy, this time she is much more bold, and so there wasn't even a moment of hesitation when she decided she will find a cure. However, this led her going into extreme of not taking care of herself, because only the goal of helping friend mattered back then. Which leads to an important message for every demographic, but more for older audience. It's very noble, willing to help your friend however it's possible, but if we forget about taking care of ourselves on the way, our efforts are gonna be no good, because not only we won't be able to help them, but also do self-harm. We think that forgetting about everything, we can help much faster, but that's just an illusion. To make a big leap, you need to take 2 steps backward. Or rather, if you want to help others, don't forget about yourself. Otherwise, this is a path of self-destruction which can easily stop your efforts. But in this particular case, there is a slight issue with it, mainly Twilight slowing Fluttershy down. Sure, she was right, but on the other hand, they had the perspective of Zecora turning into tree. So as much as Fluttershy should take care of herself, especially when she got sick too, there were moments where I felt that Twilight was slowing her down a bit too much, almost like she was not taking this seriously enough and forgot that this disease is getting worse pretty fast and pretty much is fatal. There is also the false message that this episode is sending. The whole concept of if you try hard enough, you can help with every issue and cure your friends from every disease. As much as it is noble, this might give an audience false idea. Sadly, in our world determination is important, but not always will be enough. There are incurable cases where even the medicine is powerless and still tries to develop a cure. Sad truth is, sometimes we just have to accept the painful truth that we can't help our friend or family member and just have to accept the facts. It's not easy, it never does. But much better than foolishly trying to hunt down the solution. Something this episode is encouraging. But at least this episode introduced us to another legendary pony. I am pretty sure it's totally not a build-up for something later in this season. Anyways, Mage Meadowbrook is not one of my favorite legends so far, but it's still much above Rockhoof. I mean, at least there was no Deus Ex Machina in it. We see how she actually graduated as a healer and how she had to face the challenge right away. But Meadowbrook did something Fluttershy had to learn. Stopped for a moment and thought about the problem. That way she was able to find out possible cure. That part is pretty much based on real life because there are many examples of animals that are immune to some toxins lethal to humans. That's something much better than magical mumbo jumbo out of nowhere. Sadly, on its place there are some other issues, mainly the continuity. Meadowbrook was previously mentioned in Season 5 premiere. However, back then she was referred as Sorceress and Eastern Unicorn. As much as the Sorceress part was mentioned here, there is still an issue of her actually being Southern Earth Pony. Not to mention enchanted items still kinda don't fit that, although because we don't know much about those, I'll let that slide, but I still doubt she was interested in stuff like this, given all the characterizations she received. And sadly, this is the second time we had an issue like this. It happened before with Somnambule, which I'll talk about sometime later. The fact she also has relatives also bugs me. Is Cattail her descendant? I don't think she had time to have a family, given she was traveling across Equestria healing others and suddenly disappeared. And he never referred to himself as her descendant, so most likely he is probably just a distant relative. But hey, at least he is a positive and supportive male character, so it's not that big of a deal how much he is related to Meadowbrook. Though I'm kinda curious, what was that thing he tried on Flash Beasts he didn't want to talk about? Well, on the other hand, we had that Dr. Pony that I don't quite consider a positive character. Really, being all like, it's a lot to take in. And second later, have fun! And also ditching both Zecora and Fluttershy just like that. Jeez, what a douche. I'm kinda glad he also got sick, although it's good they found a cure. He wasn't that bad. You know, I'll say it right away. I like this episode, but objectively speaking, it's far from being one of the better. The issues are too big to let them slide, although the positives are too good for me to call this a weak episode. I probably liked Fluttershy too much, but her determination here is something that I admire. Truly, she grew so much as a character. The only thing that connects her to Season 1 Fluttershy is pretty much only the look, name and the same kind heart. Other than that, it's a completely new character that isn't even that shy. The moral this episode is telling us is also something I consider a big positive. Everyone needs to know the value of knowing their limits, as well as knowing when it's needed to stop and think about the problem, instead of trying to rush finding solution, which can be the road to nowhere. Something that Meadowbrook knew and helped her, which by the way, it is still a nice legend. On the other hand, the message of if you try really hard, you will manage to cure your friend is something I'm not keen on. It's just false. Continuity is not that big of an issue, but it still bugs me, as well as Zecora being just a plot device to drive the conflict. Twilight, however, is a mixed bag for me. She is a voice of reason, but sometimes she was slowing down a bit too much, but that could be just me. Personally, I cannot say this episode is bad. I cannot say it's a weak episode. I think it's fine, but it's surely not one of the best. Quite far from it actually. I'm Sharpwit, thanks for watching.
You know, next time you should be more aware of your surrounding. Casually walking on the swamps would fit someone from the Royal Guard, but not the professional hunts pony like you.
Luckily I have you to watch my back. See, you can be a dearie if you want.
I told you not to get any ideas, I just want to go back to my old self, so I need you in one piece.
Yeah, I know. Next time I'll take the necessary precautions.
For starters, you could take the example of Meadowbrook and wear the protective mask. The mask. Ah!
Whoa, what is it? What's happening?
I know where to find my body.